What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. As always, I am joined by the podcast dad himself, Chris Hoops. Choops, how we doing, buddy?
I'm great. Oh, excuse me. I gotta take a drink of my coffee. Hold on. Let me just.
All right. Okay.
You know, there's one team in
All right,
Ohio
drink it
that
up.
won yesterday.
Drink it up. It's okay.
How
All
you
right, we got
doing?
Thursday
How
night.
are you doing
We got Thursday
today?
night. I've had better Sundays, buddy, but we both know that.
I'm sure you have.
It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
again, not a
it was
football
not a
podcast, but
not a great game.
we're here to talk some wrestling because we had some exciting stuff.
That run
over the
defense
weekend.
looked like dog. Okay. I mean, okay, that's in the eye of the beholder. But anyway, welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. If this is your first time, welcome to our channel. Make sure to hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to get those numbers up. We're going to talk some wrestling. If there's one thing that you and I know how to do pretty well, it's talk wrestling. And had some interesting stuff happen over the weekend, primarily on Smackdown. A couple of announcements by AEW. So what do you say we just get into it? We'll start with the Blue Brand?
War Games. Sorry, I don't.
Okay, well, we're not going to do our official Survivor Series prediction show just yet. There's still 4 episodes of TV between now and November 25th. So let's talk about one of those that we just saw this past weekend. I think the big takeaway coming from SmackDown this weekend is that Asuka is now a member of Damage Control. Your thoughts?
Oh man, I think we both expected that to happen. I love this dynamic because Bayley just looks so out of place and they are so obvious with it. It is like just painfully obvious. And you feel like you're almost watching from like the outside window, just trying to yell for Bayley, it's a trap, Bayley. But it is great storytelling.
I like I said, this isn't really surprising. The second we saw Kairi Sane come back, you knew that Asuka was going to somehow be involved with her reuniting the Kabuki Warriors. The Dakota Kai dynamic, I think, is also very interesting right now. She is also, seems to be, relatively well aligned with Io, with Kairi, and with Asuka. Do you see that changing anytime soon? I mean, we have seen Dakota Kai stab some people in the heart before. Is this another one of those opportunities here?
And in one of these matches too. This is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on when this turn happens, and if she's cleared to compete, maybe she keeps on this side just for now because she can't technically wrestle or anything at the moment, and then a little bit down the line they can attack her and kind of do that, or they can do a backstage segment where they attack her or something like that. I don't think long-term Dakota's going to be in the group, which kind of scares me because I don't know what Dakota's going to do after this, but it wouldn't hurt if Dakota was in the group, I guess. But it just feels like she also, once Bayley's out, she would also kind of feel out of place. And I think maybe I almost want to just have the 3 of them with Asuka, Kairi, and Io. I don't think you need a 4th. I think you only need the 4th for the War Games right now. And you got your 4 right there. Maybe I don't know. It's hard for me to say it right now at this moment. If I had to pick, gun to my head, I would say no. I don't think Dakota is going to stay part of the group.
Yeah, I mean, once we saw Kairi come back last week, you and I think we both had similar thought. If we want to see these Japanese wrestlers together in this collective, because of the history that they have that runs so deep and is so storied, that I think that, and feel free to disagree with me, but I think for me, if we were going to add somebody else to this group, the only person I would think of is Shinsuke. And I know he's on Raw, and there's that whole thing could come into play, but we've also talked about on this show how Aldis and Pierce can run this, or should run the show, like actual general managers, where trades could happen. We have seen that we've seen that happen already in 2023. There's no reason for that to continue and have something and bring Shinsuke over back to SmackDown. Might be, I know that we have a relatively absent world champion on that show, potentially an absent United States champion on the show, so that could be a greater opportunity for heel Nakamura to shine, especially with this collective, who, again, he also has history with too.
I wouldn't mind it, but I the other thing I want to say, and just kind of totally off the beaten path, but I want to see Asuka and Kyrie win the tag team champions again and have Io be the women's champion. I think that would just I think they would do what Damage Control was supposed to do and kind of run the division. I think this is almost like a make
Yeah.
good for them to. All right, we got what we wanted. Damage Control didn't work out as well as we thought it would. It obviously elevated Io, and maybe we're getting now to the Bailey face turn with a little bit of an edge. So I'd be excited for that. But I think you and I both were like, man, this group isn't, I think, what we wanted it to be. But this new group could be what we wanted Damage Control to be, if that makes sense.
Correct. And I know that we certainly have thought about, okay, well, what are they going to name this group? Kind of what else can they do that is reminiscent of Japan or has some of that influence in the name. But realistically, this could be just another Judgment Day situation where the leader is kicked out and they just keep it moving, which I wouldn't mind either. I think that realistically, if you have a clearer vision of what you want Damage Control to be, these three women can pull it off. Now, I think the only concern we might have is in the when it comes to promo work. Asuka has certainly improved, and it's been a while since I've heard a Kyrie WWE promo, so I'd have to refresh myself. But they could benefit from more pre-tape style segments like we've seen with Shinsuke Nakamura. I know that they had a bit of an in-ring segment on SmackDown this past weekend as well. And while it wasn't terrible, you can tell that they don't necessarily still feel comfortable reciting lengthier promos on television. So give them a chance to do some pre-tapes and really bring that edge out and do it in a way that, look at how they've presented Shinsuke Nakamura.
Or mix it back and forth between English and Japanese. Like, I like when they do that. Like when they cut a promo and they get the little bit of English and then they go right into their Japanese. I like that. I don't know if it's for everybody, but I remember when Io and Asuka had the interaction where they were going back and forth in Japanese, and we both thought it was really, really good. So yeah. I think that could play
it definitely was.
I think that could do something. Kyrie looks great. I know she's been wrestling, but Kyrie looks, like she hasn't missed anything in the WWE. Like she just looks fantastic. I'm so excited that she's back. We had another heel turn on SmackDown too, if you want to get into that one.
Yeah, I'm actually going to let you take this one.
Okay. Santos kind of turned on Ray. I mean, it's hard to say Ray didn't deserve it. He did slap him. I mean,
yeah, but Ray was also frustrated because a certain somebody left brass knuckles just within arm's reach of Logan Paul.
Who among us hasn't?
I haven't. I haven't.
Ray just needs to become like a loner, right? Everybody he's friends with turns on him. I mean, you got Eddie, Batista, Dominic, now Santos. Like, Ray, why don't you just hang back for a bit and just No, it's I like what we're getting. I think.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
You sir.
Go ahead. No, it's all right.
I was just gonna say I like heel Santos. I think babyface Santos was a little watered down, and I think we could get the other two out of LWO. That's how kind of in the background they've been, which is kind of frustrating. And kind of make it great again, because what they're working NXT with Phantasma was just amazing. And I think if we can get back to that, that would do wonders for Santos, and it would bring more depth to that tag division because they're not really doing much in LWO.
Yeah, and to kind of follow up on that point, the same thing goes with Cruz and Joaquin Wilde. They could definitely benefit from this refreshed edge too, because they've always been a heel tag team, at least in the times that we've seen them on TV. And bringing Zelina Vega back into the fold, given what she can do as a heel manager, we saw that run with Andrade and it was magnificent. That's what I really wanted to have them align, when they aligned her with Santos, because Alexa Lopez just was not it. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, but heel Zelina right now and basically kicking Ray out of LWO. Let's run it.
Do you think maybe, Cruz and Del Toro aren't at the level that WWE wants them to be? Do you think they could bring like a Los Lotharios and join them with Santos and Zelina?
That could be really fun. I think that I need to see more of Lothario's, embracing this heel edge, and not getting further away from the lover boy gimmick per se, because they're going back to their family legacy and their history. Let's get a little bit more of that. I think in the next few months, sure, why not? But I would want to see them rack up some wins in NXT as well to bring them in as a hot tag team to kind of refresh this group.
Okay. Did you see Rhea's Twitter bio and her profile picture and her background?
Not today,
So
no.
it is Selena like almost crying when she had that moment, and then her header is Rey Mysterio, grabbing at his knee in the steps. I mean, just trolling 1,000%. And she also
Mommy's always on
she also
top.
tweeted after it, maybe it's a you thing, Ray. Like, just you cannot tell me she doesn't deserve to be number one and woman in the world. I can't. Don't stop arguing with me. Stop.
I would hope that nobody's still arguing with you about that, but
like,
I agree.
that's awesome. That's great work.
Yeah.
I love it. She's like, I love that she is in tune with what's going on and will keep playing up that character. It sets her apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Before we kind of move on to AEW, I think the one piece we do need to kind of revisit when it comes to SmackDown is SmackDown roster getting the win match. We have some idea that it's likely going to be this new Damage Control taking on Bianca and Charlotte. Those are the two we know for sure that will be in it. So let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, 4-on-4 War Games match. We've got Bianca, we've got Charlotte. Who are you using to round out the ranks?
Well, I think Shotzi is definitely going to be that third. She came out to help the attack, and I think Shotzi fits very well into a War Games match because her stuff always doesn't look fantastic, but in that kind of gimmick match, she kind of has that controlled madness thing. So I think Shotzi will definitely be the third. They've played up that relationship with Charlotte. I'm cool with that. Get more Shotzi on my TV is just fine with me. The fourth, do you want who I want, or do you want who's been rumored?
We're going to talk about it all.
Want to talk about it all?
Yeah.
I want Mia Yim.
Me too.
That's who I want because she needs something. She's too talented not to be doing something.
Yeah, it's unfortunate just because she has been so amazing, since her return to WWE, and she just deserves more than what they're. I mean, that goes for Gallows and Anderson too. This club unit in general. Don't you dismiss me? I'm trying to give people their flowers here. All right.
I'm not worried about those two. AJ Styles, I'm worried about.
Well, okay. Everybody and their mom should be worried about AJ Styles right now. But let's go back to Mia Yim. Simply awesome. I mean, she also fits this team really, really well. Just a gritty, tough competitor, not afraid to, get crazy. And especially in a match like this, the stakes are, they're amped up here. Now, the rumored name is Becky Lynch. Yeah. I don't want it.
Why?
She is a Raw superstar. They're trying to restore the brand split. What reason does she have to align herself or get involved in this overall War Games match? I mean, other than trying to get another member of the Horsewomen into that match, but realistically, let's kind of look at this strategy here. Now, last year she did return, helped out Team Bianca in War Games in that match. That's fine. She has a very deep history with Charlotte Flair, and they didn't necessarily I think the belt swap was the last time that they shared a screen together, and they've had quite a bit to say about each other in interviews over the last couple of years. Doesn't really make sense for her to fit in this team, other than they just need a person.
Do you think they go 5?
That might be overkill.
And maybe include a Xia Li to counteract Becky.
But again, but why would we bring them into the match? It makes sense why Damage Control is in it. It makes sense why Becky and Charlotte are in this match. It makes sense why Shotzi is in this match. But there still is. I just don't see what explanation they could give between now and November 25th as to why Raw superstars are being invited to participate in the SmackDown War Games match.
I guess we might find out tonight why that's happening.
We might. I mean, I hope we do.
So I will say everything that you're saying is, we're going to use that buzzword, logical. We are living in an unlogical world in wrestling, sir. Mm-hmm. So what's going to sell the most tickets? What's going to make the most money? Becky Lynch in that match. All right. I'm not going to not like Becky Lynch in the match.
Yeah, same. I mean, same here. It's just if I had my choice, like, Mia Yim, how we doing?
I agree, but Mia Yim's not going to sell as many tickets as Becky Lynch, unfortunately.
I heard you the first time, Choops.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to run a business here.
What business are you running?
You don't know Johnny's salary, man. There's a lot of hustling going on.
Realistically, like who's paying? Like how did we get here? How did we get to this point?
He lives in my basement, so that's how this is going.
Okay.
He's very loud sometimes. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, well, wait till your Tuesday co-host starts showing up. All right.
What's this now?
Huh? Oh, you hadn't heard?
What's this now?
I don't know. I might be outsourcing my co-hosting duties on Tuesdays.
Jeez. We only work 4 days now anyway, and you're already trying to get out of another one?
Sometimes I like to treat myself to a Tuesday off. Maybe some tacos.
Oh, no. Whatever. The dreaded Taco Tuesday. Oh, no. Did you watch Collision?
Sorry. What? You know what? I actually did watch Collision. Certainly not on time, but I watched Collision.
Good, because I didn't.
Okay, yeah. Well, as always, the results are going to be at the bottom in the ticker here. There's really only a couple of things that I just kind of want to talk about here. First and foremost, God, I'm just not a fan of this show anymore. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to watch. Okay, without commercials, on demand, it's about hour and a half. 90 on a bad day, but it just drags, man. It just drags. And that's not to say that there weren't some good matches or anything like that. Nick Wayne and Dalton Castle had a pretty fun one.
He's got a lot of
Powerhouse Hobbs
squashed
some jobber, but who? Dalton?
Yeah,
as it should.
He's been on the last couple, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's kind of, I mean, I would consider that his home show, and I think that's a lot of what drives me nuts. Is just everybody just goes back and forth, and I don't know. I need the proper split, and let's be honest, they didn't plan for a show without Pepsi Phil, so they're just kind of
I can't wait till he's revealed.
Going through the motions.
I can't wait.
Why are we doing this? Why? Okay. Which one would you prefer? Debut as the Devil or Survivor Series?
Oh, the Devil. It's 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. I would love if he came back as the Devil. That would be the shot in the arm AEW would just, that'd be amazing. You can't tell me that wouldn't be amazing.
I am. Again, I'm just on the fence. Like it's just a look.
You'd pop.
I think the emotion in the moment might elicit a reaction. Sure, I'll give you that. However, why do we continue to have this conversation about this man in this particular respect of like you seriously just get to walk around and act like a grade A jackass and then hope that everybody forgets long enough just for you to move on and everything's copacetic until until he does it all over again. Why do we keep going back to that?
I don't know. Why did we keep going back to Jeff Hardy?
That one's easy to explain, I feel like.
Why? You're telling me, don't even tell me that Jeff Hardy was a bigger draw than CM Punk.
I'm not saying that Jeff Hardy is a bigger draw than CM Punk. Like, you're not even letting me finish my point here. Let me
go ahead.
let's just look at it from this context of, we have seen if we're going to look at the two cases of CM Punk being in trouble, Jeff Hardy being in trouble. Jeff Hardy's troubles, yes, he's brought a lot. Well, okay, here's the common denominator. They've both brought these issues on themselves. Like that much is true. Jeff's significantly worse because there are legal woes and there are things that he has needed to address in his life. Totally get that. However, the difference is that by all accounts, Jeff Hardy is relatively well liked. There's a special place in Vince's heart for Jeff Hardy. Same with Triple H as far as wanting to put him over for his world title win. So when, yes, you do have management that are still willing to give you chance after chance after chance, knowing how badass you are, which is another trait that CM Punk also shares. The problem is CM Punk does not know how to get out of his own way. He caused a fight. Oh, yeah, some people love him. Oh, some people hate him. Oh, he's a cancer. He should be this. He should be that. Like, seriously, like, why would you do that? If we're running a business here and Johnny effed up in some spectacular fashion, do you really think that he's going to stay on our show? No. It's no different here.
How many times does
I don't understand why WWE wants him anyway.
How many times does CM Punk come out under the influence for the main event of the pay-per-view?
Never. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's another one.
How many times did you do that for Vince?
There's another one.
No, answer my question first. How many times did you do that for Vince?
We don't know.
Okay. Well, at this point, you would think that we would have to hear of at least one of them,
he did get suspended before WrestleMania where he was going to win the Money in the Bank, so...
Okay, all we know is that it was a suspension. We don't know the reason.
Yeah, we do. He failed a drug test.
Okay, failed a drug test, but again, my question for you was, you're okay. I'm not excusing Victory Road, but once and hadn't, at least as far as we know, not before or since.
Who else? Who else was a big problem backstage and was just a cancer to the locker room, but they pushed to the moon? Go back to the 90s with Shawn Michaels.
You know why they did though? Okay, if we're gonna bring him into it, and we both know that, okay, yeah, he may have been a pain in the ass to deal with backstage, but everybody and their mom that was in that locker room wanted to work with him in the ring because of how good he was. I get that. I get that there is that in-ring ability.
Except for Vader, Farouk, Brett, Owen. You want me to keep going? Bulldog. You want me to keep going?
Tell me that they still didn't get some fantastic matches with Shawn Michaels minus Leon.
Who went over in all those matches?
Okay, Shawn did.
You. Tell me.
Okay. I'm not sure what kind of point you're trying to make there anyway.
Punk has put over how many people?
Fine.
Even though he has this huge, massive ego. How many people did he put over? Would MJF be where he is right now if he didn't go over CM Punk?
I think he probably
that was a star-making win. I can't believe that I have become the CM Punk defender on this show. That is not what I thought was going to happen.
Okay, whatever. Okay, good for you. All right, you're not getting paid for it.
What else happened on Collision? I saw
Julia Hart defeated Willow Nightingale to advance the triple threat match at Full Gear this Saturday for the TBS Championship.
That's this Saturday?
Either Red Velvet or Sky Blue. Yes, it will be. So I might see you. Yeah, I know. This is weekend 2 of 3 of wrestling. So
there's so many pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Who did Powerhouse Hobbs beat? Because I see some dude.
Yeah, some dude. That's literally
made me chuckle.
It's
Thank you for that.
I don't know. Yeah.
See, Daniel Garcia got beat again.
Yeah. Well. Like I said,
was there any like storyline advances or like any major besides the triple threat match?
So what I think will be interesting, so Andrade was cornered by CJ Perry for this match. So it does seem like that is official that they are a team. They did cut to Miro backstage and doing the watching TV like any other normal human being on the planet does. And I don't know, I would be okay with an Andrade Miro feud. It gives them both something to do. They're both entirely too talented to not be on TV every week.
You remember when Miro was going to go to AEW and be a big star and they weren't going to do this whole AEW would never do that to Miro. The whole wife angle. Yeah. If WWE were doing
Yeah.
this, we'd be shitting all over it, wouldn't we?
Well, technically, they already did do it before once. The Bobby Lashley
Yeah.
thing.
I'm so happy he's
But at
in a
least
better
this is
place.
not. At least from what we, yeah, from what we can tell here, like there wasn't, at least from what was on Collision, there was nothing that would seem to suggest that this is going to be anything more than a hey, Andrade has now got a new manager sort of thing.
Okay.
Other than Miro making it about stay away from my wife, man.
Yeah. I don't need that. See, that's why I didn't want Lana back. You know who.
Lana's not in AEW.
Continental Classic. What are your thoughts?
I'm getting real tired of Tony Khan making special announcements. They're all pre-taped, and they even down to you could have done a couple of more takes, and I just I think they just do these one and done.
Hello, it is me,
tournament.
Tony Khan. I am here.
It's right in my ear
with Bryan Danielson. We are very excited. That's how every Tony Khan promo is.
I can understand wanting to make sure that All In 2024 is the best event that it could possibly be, because they have a lot to be proud of for what they did at the 2023 show. They absolutely do. I don't need you to give a special announcement saying, hey, pre-sale is available in a couple of weeks. We're almost there. That can be a commercial break. It doesn't need to be an announcement by you. Continental Classic, it's hard to get excited about it. I know the matches will be good, but as far as being excited about the tournament overall as a whole, not really, because there is never any follow-up with these tournaments that they do. Okay. Yes, Starks is a AEW tag team champion right now, for sure. Willow gets TV time every week. How often when we're done with May, June, they're not talking about the fact that, oh, these guys won a grueling tournament this year in honor of one of the all-time greats. So what am I supposed to care about when it comes to this tournament, other than, oh, the finals are going to be at another pay-per-view that we've just had to add because our new corporate, our parent company is suggesting that we, make them more money. So
yeah, I mean,
we're fired up today.
I know that you have a little bit of tournament fatigue with AEW. I'm excited for this one because it's a round robin, and it's I think, I don't know if we were on the show when we mentioned it, but it's almost like a G1, which I think they could make into an annual tradition in AEW, and I'd be okay with it. I think the winner gets an AEW title shot, so at least there's some stakes at the very end, and I mean, I'm okay with it because it's going to get more guys on TV, get them better. We're going to get some good quality matches.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned the part about the title shot, because at least the commercial, or at least the announcement, I didn't hear anything about an AEW title shot, which was going to be the one criticism I have. Is I know that you're saying this could be the new G1. G1, you win that tournament, you're going to Wrestle Kingdom. So it's yes, there is a stake there, but even here, it's now just, oh, you'll get shot, and then it becomes the at a later date thing. No, set it up. Even WWE, we know what happens when you win the Royal Rumble. You go to WrestleMania. It's really not that hard of a concept, but it always just seems like when they do these tournaments that there is just zero follow-up. So why the hell?
Yeah, and that could be their Rumble. That could be their King of the Ring, or whatever. This is your tradition now. You get into this tournament, you win this tournament, you get a shot at the title. I would like to have them push it if they're going to do, All In. If every year is going to be a stadium show, then yes, have this tournament, winner gets a title shot at All In. And I'd be okay with that. Heck, make your biggest show something I want to watch because you have this huge buildup. Obviously, I still want to watch All In, but if you give me a kind of Royal Rumble angle to it, or an Elimination Chamber angle to it, where I won this grueling tournament, now I have earned a shot at the champion, and make it a yearly thing, I think it would be really, really beneficial for AEW.
Yeah, but at this point, we'll see. I would just want to see how this first tournament shakes out. I want to see who else is in it. We know that Bryan Danielson was one of the first participants announced. Yeah, I mean, it it's just another Saturday night show, and you talk about having wrestling fatigue, by the time we get to Saturday, we're ready to watch college football. We've got the NFL on Sunday. So to say, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch, AEW Saturday night and, Collision and be like, hey, I'm going to watch this live and I'm ready for it. Like, this is appointment viewing for me. No, the hell it is not. Not for me anyway.
Did you just call it AW Saturday night?
I did. I did.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We're going to get destroyed.
Whatever.
I can't
Whatever.
believe you just did that.
Miss me
All
with
right.
that. All right.
Real quick, before we head off,
Yes.
I saw a tweet from NoDQ.com. I want to give them a shout out. It was an article that they tweeted out, and it said, and this is, you haven't heard what I'm going to say, and I want to get your genuine opinion to see if this would work. Right?
Okay.
Why Rampage needs to be rebranded into an all-women show. How would you feel about that?
I'm listening.
Would you watch it?
Yeah.
So my biggest issue
in a heartbeat.
My biggest issue with that is I feel like they would push that off of Dynamite, like the women's title off of Dynamite, and just push it on Rampage and say, hey, we had our women's angle for the week. That would be my biggest issue with it. But if they still have the stuff on Collision, if they still have the stuff on Dynamite, but Rampage is now strictly all women, and we get other storylines and the occasional pop-up of the women's champion still being on the bigger shows, but she will show up sometimes on Rampage, I think that would work, because I think there is a market for an all-women show. We have Glow, we have Stardom, but like in the US, there's not much. Yeah. And if they want to be this company that promotes wrestling, have the women for an hour on Friday night. Like, you're already getting shit ratings. Why not try something new?
Yeah, no, I actually really, really like that idea. That there are so many people deserving of that opportunity, and especially now that we're not seeing Britt Baker around lately. Thunder Rosa's still out of action. This we give your Athenas, your Billy Starks,
Abaddon,
whatever. Okay.
Like Abaddon came out of nowhere because they wanted to pop a number for a Halloween special. Like, she's so underrated, and I mean, her record in AEW is insane because they've protected her so much. But how many Dynamites has she been on? 3?
Yeah, not many. I mean, yeah. And this would be a perfect opportunity, especially now that Mariah May is officially all elite. It introduces American audiences to her and what she can do. I think that'd be a great idea.
Just showcase.
Sucks that we won't get it, but
showcase your women's division. I think that would be it'd be such a refreshing take on a wrestling show, because you and I have begged for another Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah,
like, corner that market where, hey, we promote the women wrestling. We have the best women's wrestling, and you can see it live every Friday, or not live, but you can see it every Friday night. That I think that would be. I think it would work. I really like the article. Wanted to give a shout out to them.
I agree.
But yeah, I wanted to get your genuine reaction and be like, do you think that would work? And sounds like you.
Yeah, I think it absolutely could. If properly built, if you take the necessary thought to kind of figure out, here's who I want to showcase, here's kind of the direction of the show that I want to take, as long as they are clear in that intention, I think it can be successful. The problem I have with Collision is now that what's his name is gone, there was really no direction as to what's going on with the show or who should be kind of featured and focused on. Like I said, I watched Collision. Do I feel like I need to watch it every Saturday night on time? Absolutely not. You froze there, Troops.
Oh, am I back?
There you go.
All right, cool. I'm back. I'm back, guys. I'm back. Like what? And again, I know we said real quick, but in 30 seconds or less. No, give me one word. We're going to take that wholly back. Give me one word. Do they need another world champion for Collision? If they do a roster split, do you need a champion for Collision? One word.
Need, no. Based on the way that you asked the question, no.
All right. So if they were to do a roster split, you would have your champion travel on both shows.
Yes, and just to make just a very quick clarification as to why I say no is because even you said you really need a champion if they split. No. However, I was interested in seeing where the potential real world championship story would have gone involving MJF. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, it's with the devil right now.
Okay, whatever. It's time to go home. I'm sick of your ass today. Okay. Thank you so much for watching the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Remember, like, share, subscribe, hit that QR code in the top left corner. Help us to grow this community. We've got some great stuff coming this week. We do have a brand new interview dropping this upcoming Thursday. We can't wait for you guys to check out our conversation with Brian Baum. Remember, just be kind to each other. Podcast Dad, any final thoughts?
Yeah. You say be kind. I'm going to say it again. You better be kind to Johnny. He's working very hard. Thank you, Johnny, and the research team.
Name? Do you even know his intern's name?
Yeah, come on. There's Bill.
Do you care?
There's Tony. I watch more than you can say, buddy.
I edit. I'm a freaking contestant every week. Okay, whatever. It's okay. That's fine. It's like I said, your new co-host is coming. You won't know when, but he's coming. So for the podcast, Dad, I am Mr. Cincinnati. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon.